Hello everybody, welcome back to Musings by Nikki. This is not the first time I have shot this video because, I thought I was shooting a video and I was not shooting a video. I somehow did not hit record. Of course I did that. So in the video that I was not filming but that I thought I was filming, I was processing through some of my ephemera pieces for my baby book that I'm making. Anyhow, we're rewinding and we're going to take a cup of coffee here, a sip of coffee. And we're going to start from the beginning. Hello, everybody. I am just turning the camera on to work through some of the ephemera for my baby book. And I'm using my bundle of joy kits that I recently did a flip through of. If you want to see the flip through of all the pieces and pages and envelopes and everything, I'll link that below. But what I'm doing is, let me see if I can, oh yeah, here. So I am, I printed all the ephemera and tags and everything onto this bright white presentation paper, which is just like regular paperweight, printer paperweight. And so, usually when I print a kit, when I get to the pages of ephemera and pieces like this that are going to be tags and journaling cards, I usually print these out on cardstock so that they have a little more heft to them. But because I did not want to waste the set of prints that I had made for the flip through, I thought, you know what, most of the time I like to kind of zhuzh up, you know, to use a Wendy term, zhuzh up my ephemera pieces anyway. And so I thought I'll just cut them out and then I'm backing them on things to give them a little bit more weight. So since these go into some pockets that I'll make either on this video or probably a little bit later, I backed them with some regular lined paper so that they could write here on the front, but then they could also flip it over and write on the back. Now I've only been doing these with my glue stick. This Elmer's Extreme Hold I find works pretty well and kind of has stood the test of time in my journals. So it's not to the edges or anything like that. What I'm trying to do is just get the two pieces to kind of lay flat together, because what I'm going to do is go around and sew around the edges of all of this ephemera. In this baby book, I kind of want to do a lot of sewing. I'm going to wear my zigzagger out, right? I love me some zigzag stitch. So then the other thing that I've done is used, I have all these offcuts. From the papers that I have used, and I always save these because these end up being my tuck spots and my pockets and little envelopes and all kinds of things, tabs. So I have now been backing with those offcuts. I've been backing, so now they have a little bit more heft to them. So over the years, as they're, you know, pulled in and out, I'm hoping that, you know, kind of my goal is that this is something that, forgot to punch that hole, that, you know, this baby can look at for years to come and be reminded how much they were, you know, anticipated and how much they still are loved by everybody around them. Oh, so anyway, I'm going through and so I want these pieces to stand the test of time, as you know, I don't want corners to get wrecked and ruined. So I'm backing them. In the other video, I said I've been using I am not using any vintage photo or gathered twigs. Those are my go-to inks, and I'm not using them at all in this book. This book is so different than what I normally do. So I'm using Old Paper by Tim Holtz and Wild Honey, which is this beautiful kind of amber golden honey thing, because we don't know if this is a boy or girl. And so this is Old Paper and this is Amber Honey inked right here. So we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so I'm trying to keep it fairly neutral right now. And then once the baby is born, you know, in the coming few weeks here, then I'll probably go in and maybe add pink ribbons or blue ribbons to some of these, or maybe if it's a girl, add some lace to the edges of the book and stuff. These I plan to zigzag around. I left kind of the edge. This is this awesome heavily textured, let's see, it just says neutral cardstock, but it's this great pad of paper. Let me show you, I've got it right here. It's die cuts with a view, and it's really textured, and it comes in all these great like neutral shades. So I have used some of those. I've used the more textured side here because it can be kind of hard to write on sometimes, so I've used the less textured side here so it's easier to write on. Anyway, I will sew around those, and then I've taken the large tags from my kit and I've backed them onto some of that paper as well. I plan to sew around the edges. Oh, I'm just realizing I haven't inked those though, so let's ink those really quickly. It's bizarre. Like I was just saying, it's weird to be not using any brown inking around the edges of stuff on this. So far out of my typical comfort zone, because usually everything gets a good coating of vintage everything, right? A good coating of vintage photo or, you know, aging, faux aging. Oops. Okay. I gotta punch that hole too. So, anyhow, how are you guys all doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm off today. We have a day off from school. Yay! For conferences. Although we've had so many days off this year because of the weather that any day that we have off now, scheduled days off, are almost a hindrance because, you know, we're so far behind. It's conferences and there's not that much to even add into the grade books right now because kids have barely been in school because we've had so many weather days. It's bizarre. Here in Minnesota, I have this weather app on my phone and it was just telling me that we've had the most snowy February ever on record. So the most snow ever since the beginning of recording in Minnesota, that this is the February with the most snow ever. Which, when you just take a simple little gander out my window, you can totally understand that's the truth. And of course today is March 1st. We just got done with February and March has decided it maybe wants to compete. So it's snowing right now and we're supposed to get up to 4 inches again on top of the, I don't know, couple feet that we have out there right now. All right, so I'm setting all of this stuff aside because not on camera because it would just be the most boring video ever to sit and watch me sew around the edges of these. But I'm going to have little, you know, sewing around the edges of things fest later, and I'll go through this. So I have a little pile over here going of all the stuff that I'm going to sew through. Sew around. And then I have these 3 little guys right here. So I think I want to, I'm thinking that I maybe want to make tags and make these like pockets on the fronts of tags. So let's see. That'd be cute on that background. We could make 2 out of that. And then, let's see, let's find a cute little pattern for that guy. This little deer and bird. Yeah, that's cute. So I think what I'll do is I will probably, maybe I'll sew these on. You know, I might want to make these, do I want to reinforce them? Like I said, I'm kind of hoping that these will stand the test of time. I guess if it's just a pocket, it's not that big a deal. So what I'll probably do is we will cut some tags here. So let me move my inkers and grab my trimmer. Hello, trimmer. And let's see. If we're gonna do tags, this is gonna be 12 inches long because this is the offcut. So we'll just go there. There we go. Yep. And then we'll cut off the corners. So, okay, you guys, this is my trick. I am sure that we all do, like, have little weird ways that you do things. This is my trick for lining up and, like, slicing, chomping the corners on these. I find a marking down on the bottom depending on how big it is, and it's totally arbitrary. Every time it's different. There is no set method for this by any means, but I find them. So here we go. We go 3.5, and then I go out to the 1/2 inch mark over here. I hope this makes sense. So I take the bottom corner and go 3.5. I don't know if that's even on video. Whoops. And then I just kick the video down here. Kind of. Push it up a little bit more. So 3.5 mark here, and then I go out to the 1/2 inch mark on this side of the slicer and whoosh, cut the corner off. Look at that. But then I flip the tag over, 3.5 mark down here, point my little corner there, and point it out at the 1/2 inch mark there. And there we go. Now they're perfectly little matchy corner chomps off of there. I've seen other people who cut and then they go like hold it up like this, you know, on the back side or whatever. That is too close for comfort with my little fingers, and I will cut myself. So okay, that's that one. And then we want to do this one. So this maybe needs to be a little more narrow. So let's take 3/4 of an inch off. 3/4? Nah, let's take only a 1/2 inch off. And we'll keep that. Perfect for collaging. All right, so now let's see, this isn't quite as long. So we'll go 2.5. Like I said, totally arbitrary. And to the 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch mark on this side is my standard. 2.5 and 1/2 inch. And there we go. So we'll make that a little pocket on there. And then let's cut this guy down. You know, I'm not crazy about how well, maybe I could, nah, I'm not crazy about it. See how there's like the lines are off? That stuff makes me crazy. Don't ask me why, it just does. Let's do this one. This is cute because these run diagonal, so you know I can't really mess that up. And we'll make this a little bit bigger tag. Actually, maybe we'll make this a flippy tag, like a Hermelinda tag. Look, these things can be called Hermelinda tags. Now they can call Wendy's flippy tags. Now Tracy's got this awesome kit that has tags that you can put toppers on and glue them together and make them flippy tags and everything. Everybody's getting we're just putting out the coolest ideas and the coolest things. It's part of why I love this community. So I'm going to sew around that. Maybe I'll sew around the edges this way and make it a side tuck pocket. But because this is going to be a tag, we're going to do my super non-technical, arbitrary tag corner chomping trick. You see, this time, look at this time I went to 3. Why did I go to 3 instead of 2.5 or 3.5? Who knows? That is not for us to know. So there you go. That's going to be cute. So that will be a pocket there, and then you can flip it open, and maybe we'll put some stuff on the inside of that too. Yeah, or ooh, I think we'll put a couple holes there. Okay, yes, yes. I'm gonna maybe just glue down around the edge. I think I'll make it a side pocket, and let's see, maybe we can use piece of course I just put away my paper trimmer over there. These I'm going to put away for now because I want to sew these pockets on, and then I'll just put little tags in there. Oh, I also have, like, I was toying around with making some tags. I got this stack of tags at Michael's, maybe, tag blanks like this, and I thought that the little scalloped edge made it look really cute for making baby tags. So I've just used some washi on there, which of course I'll zigzag across, but maybe those could, if I stitch, ooh, that's a tight fit. That would have to be a pretty close to the edge stitch. Anyway, otherwise I'll just make some pockets. But these I'm going to sew around, and I'll ink around the edges of those. But so those are ready. They're going in my sew pile over there. But this, maybe we will, oh, put the cover back on that. Everybody knows how fast that glue dries out. All right, paper trimmer back. And we're going to make ourselves a little tag, but I need to know how long. So this guy is roughly 4.5, so let's make the little tag 4 inches. So there's space to sew around and stuff. Yeah, so then it can tuck in from the side. But we don't want it that wide, because that's going to be too wide. So I'll take off maybe 3/4 of an inch. There we go. That'll be cute, and I'll put a little tab on there. All right, keep our little scrappies. All right. So I think what I'll do is run a bead of glue around this. Eventually I'll probably sew it on. But for now, I want this. So this is another trick I do. I know I want this side to be open, so I hold on to that side when I flip it over, because otherwise I can't even tell you how many times I have glued the wrong edges. Look, here I am double checking myself again and again. I have glued down the wrong side of things. Made glue marks in the most weirdest places, and then had to try and pull stuff up. Oh, come on now. See, I had it setting open for just more than a second, and already. I don't know who it was. Look, I gotta use my thing here. I don't know who it was that I was watching. There we go. That first talked about this. I think it was maybe Tracy Fox, but I love this glue. I use this glue all the time. Oh, and right as I'm saying how much I love it, look at it's going to just be a pain in the butt. There we go. That's better. I'm just fitting, again, I'm not, this is my goal here is not to, you know, make this archival to stick down for the years. It's just to get it glued on there and placed on there so I can keep working on this tag, so that I can come back and sew. I'll come back and sew around those edges later on. And then this little tag should fit right inside there. Okay, yeah. So now this guy needs a little tab. We'll punch a little tab. Let's see, what papers do I have over here that I want to punch a tab out of. Oh, here I've got some offcut here. So let's do that one. You guys know the trick for using the tab punch to make a tab that's double-sided instead of just single-sided? I am not the one that invented or figured this out. Oh, I gotta cut those sides down. But it is so smart. You fold it in half, and when you put it in the little tab punch, you make sure that it just stays shy of the top line, because that's where it's going to fold. And I'm going to line it up, because I am obsessive like that. I'm going to line it up so I can see if I can get the polka dots lined up in the puncher. And then, is this the most exciting thing you guys have watched all day? Me lining up a punch? I'm sure. Thanks for staying with me. There we go. Okay, so this is what you should end up with. Nothing on the top edge here, because then it folds over. So now you've punched yourself a little foldy over tab. And that's a technical term you can use, foldy over. And I'm going to round the corners on this, because it slides better in and out of the pocket if the edges are rounded. And And then we'll put the little tab on there. Won't that be so cute? Okay, yeah. So let's put that on. It is going against everything inside of me to not just ink the heck out of everything that I'm cutting out. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. And it doesn't need to be uber vintage, everything I do. Okay. There we go. And we're going to put the cap back on that so it doesn't get to be a mess. All right. So there we go. Now we've got our pocket that like I said, I'll sew around it later. We've got this cute little tabbed card that pulls out the side. And I'll probably zip some stitching along the edge of that too, because this is going to be one of those heavily stitched projects. Now I'm kind of thinking we could put a couple of little, maybe we'll make this, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll make this a pad of paper. Yeah. Okay, I think that's what we'll do. Hang tight. I'm gonna put that guy away. Oh my goodness. Throw stuff everywhere because I'm good at that. Here is another piece of that project paper that I had. Let me grab one more. Let's see. Down in my, you guys, if you could only see around what from where I'm filming right now, you would just die. My husband does regularly. Looks around my desk and just shakes his head. Oh my gosh, how can you need all that stuff? First of all, how could you need all that stuff to make a book that small? I'm pretty sure that's a thought that goes through his head. And then hold on. Coffee. And then I think the other thing that he thinks is like, how can you find anything in that pile, that massive pile of craziness? Because it's a hot mess. But it's not. It's my hot mess. And it's an organized hot mess. So we're going to cut some papers. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I'm chronically checking my camera, standing up and checking my camera, make sure I'm in frame. Okay. Probably should know what size to cut them to, Nikki. So this is like 3 1/4 wide. And I like it to be just under. So we'll go 3 1/2. And I like the edges of all this stuff. So we're going to go 3, what did I say? 3 1/2. We'll go 3 1/2. And oh my goodness, my blade just fell out. I see everybody's like really nice rotary cutters that they're getting now. And that's another thing I'm jelly about, because look at, this doesn't just happen. Oh look, we just get the date. We just get the date. And then, I could just, if I fold them over though, here's the problem. If I fold them over, you write on this side. Well, no, because then when you flip it up, you could write there and, okay. Phew. That crisis is averted too. So if we fold them over, now we've got ourselves a nice little notepad to go inside. And of course I'm gonna have to trim those corners off, but I'm not super worried about that at this second. What I think I will do is, what I want to do is put 2 little eyelets here, and in essence, me putting the eyelets through will hold the paper in, so I don't have to do a ton of gluing to it or anything. I just got to decide, should I put it all the way up into the fold that leaves? I think I will. It'll probably be a little more secure that way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me grab a couple of eyelets. Why I have them in a red bag, I don't know. Because then let's do blue. Those are cute. Because then I can't see what I'm looking through. But oh well. Okay. Now the goal will be to keep everything lined up as I do this. Think I can do it? Anytime I ask myself, do I think I can do it? It usually means I'm completely not confident that I can do it. It's like I'm talking myself into it. Okay. We'll go right there. And we'll go right there. And then we will put that in there. Ugh. All right, and that in there. Cute. Okay, now we got to get rid of these corners. And that one. Okay. Look at that. Now we have this cute little notebook. I feel like I need to crease that. So, whoops. I'm going to use my ruler as my straight edge. And again, oh my goodness, doing this the wrong way. Again, you know, arbitrary, completely arbitrary, and just kind of by sight. There we go. Fold that up so that way it makes it a little bit easier to open the notepad. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. I'm going to stitch around that so you'll see the stitching on the inside, which is fine. We'll put a little, I kind of feel like I want to put some texture on here. Maybe we'll do so. This is it's like self-stick ribbon. All right, we'll just cut a little piece of that there. I don't think that we'll see how sticky it actually is. Like I said, I think this is, I don't think I said this in this video. I said it in the last time when I thought I was filming, but I was not filming. That I have like squirreled away. This is part of why my husband just looks at me and thinks, what in the world do you need all that stuff for? Squirreled away all of these things for all of these years, you know, and but for such a time as this. And, get rid of that edge. And I have had some of this stuff since I made my girls' baby books way back in the day. They are now 11 and 15. But you know, I scrapbooked way back then, them some baby books, and I'm quite sure that this stick-on ribbon came from one of those projects, way back then. So we'll see how sticky it still is. But you know, wow, that's very sticky, which is awesome. That'll get some stitching over it anyway, along the edge there. But cute. Oh, now do we need a piece at the bottom too? I have this other one. Nah, I just like the top. We'll leave it at that. So, and I found these too. Like these were, you know, I have this drawer where I just kind of stick stuff that this is so not my usual, what I would usually use. But then I look at it and I think, oh, but you know, what if I was making a spring journal, right? So what if I throw it around, I throw it in there, and then years later I use it. I've got some yellow and green ribbon that I bought. I was at Michael's the other day. That's sticky. I'm getting a few things for this baby journal because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that There's a lot of stuff that I'm using in this that I normally wouldn't use because it's not that, you know, vintagey old feeling that I usually have with my books. So I was picking up a few things and I saw this cute little eyelet ribbon and thought, okay, that I can do in, if even not knowing if it's a girl or a boy yet. So we'll tie a cute little bow. Okay. Ooh, I don't know. We'll tie a cute little bow. I just cut it. There we go. I cut it pretty short for that, but just enough to make a cute little bow. There. Cute. And we can put that right on. That'll just get paper clipped right onto a page in there. So there we go. How cute is that? And a notebook to write stories, and another piece of ephemera. Check. All right, let me put that over here with my pile of stuff to sew around the edges of. And then, let me put this back over here. All right, let's see, what should we do next? Let's do a bag. So I have all these pieces, all the bits and pieces. These are all, if you saw my kit flip through, if you didn't, I don't know if I said this in this video or the last take, but I'll link it down below. The flip through of this kit, like actually in pages before it's cut out and inked and everything. And I've got all these little words, right? So when you're writing in a baby book, here's the idea that I like about making one this way rather than just buying her one that's already made. Because first of all, I make books, so of course I want to make a book. But secondly, you know, sometimes there's stuff in there that you just wouldn't use, or like it might say baptism, but what if you don't baptize? What if you just dedicate, or you christen, or you don't do any of those things? Like I like the idea of being able to completely make this personalized to how you would want to use it. And so that's why this whole page of words, and titles and captions. So there are all these little captions like first visitors. So, I mean, maybe this is a book that you're making for or giving to somebody who's highly, you know, personal, or they just chose not to have a lot of people in the hospital room. So maybe they don't need this little caption. So it's not like it's stuck in there, right? You can only put, you only have to put the things that you want to use. That said, I don't want to go through and affix. Some of these things I'll probably affix in there. But like on the day you were born, this would be great if you put a picture in there and then, you know, you could stick this as a caption underneath it, or you could put it up here and then write. She could journal on that page about, you know, what happened. Certainly both my girls have fun birth stories. My 11-year-old was born in a snowstorm. In the end of November. It snowed and snowed and snowed and didn't stop for like 3 days straight. And then my 11-year-old, my second one, was born in the hottest July that we'd had, or June that we'd had on records. Had been hundreds of, so totally opposite. So on the day you were born, things like that would be fun to write. First bath, you know, grandma, daddy, first visitors. Then there's like, you know, milestones and moments, first foods, crawling, right? So I think what I'm going to do with all these, and I won't make you guys watch this on camera, but I've got all of these skinny offcuts from when I was trimming down the papers from being 12 by 12s. And I think what I'm going to do is, instead of just leaving these like this, I'm going to take some of them and back them onto this, and then maybe even like zigzag, because, you know, we're going to zigzag the heck out of this book. I'm going to zigzag stitch or stitch around the edges of them so that, you know, it adds dimension. So they're already collaged and everything, and all she would have to do is, you know, glue them in or stick them on wherever she decides that these are things that she wants to put. So what I want to do is, I'm trying to decide, do I want to put them in this bag? That's probably not going to be big enough. But this bag is big enough, or these bags are perfect for the large tags. Let me see if I can grab one here. back off my sewing pile. Just throwing stuff everywhere. Oh, just kidding. That's not it. They do fit these in there very well. These large tags. Goodness. They fit in there perfect. So I might want to collage the front of one or two of these and put them in there anyway, because these would be great places for these big tags to go. Maybe, you know what? Maybe what I'll do is make a pocket, like a twist open. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, guys. I've got all these. Okay. So that's my plan. I'm going to put all these on, you know, things, and some of them I'll probably affix because some of them I know that she'll want to use. But then others, you know, she may or may not want to use. So I've got these pages that are kind of my randoms. Oh yeah, this would be perfect for a big pocket. So maybe like that. That's the same. So that could be a pocket too. These are my little, these are my moments where I wasn't paying the most attention. They're just tuck spots, so I'm going to collage along the edges of those. And then sew them down, and those will be, okay, so that's what these three are. They're pages that will be sewn around the edges and layered up, and will become tuck spots there. But these could be envelopes that were sewn in, and I can do a twisty and open it up, and then it could be in there. Maybe, you know what? I think that's a good idea. And then I think what I'll probably do is put coin envelopes. Some of these maybe with the words in them. Well, those are pretty small. Well, I don't know. Because I could write firsts on there and then put all the first moments in there, and then like family labels and put those, because then it wouldn't be just like reaching into this whole big envelope full of stuff. It'd be reaching in to pull those out, so it's a little more organized. Maybe. Those are kind of small. I do have some larger envelopes because, you know, have a million things in here. Oh, or these bags. This size bag would probably work better. So those could slip down inside of there and be labeled. Oh, perfect. You guys, maybe I do two of them. Oh, come on now. Sure enough, they've all gone underneath the thing. Well, I'll pull them out later. So maybe if I do two of these envelopes, then I could have two sets, because I wonder how many of these would fit next to each other. Yeah, okay. So let's make those. Let's see these. This is just random crafting with Nikki time here. We're gonna round the corners off. And then, you know, once she's used up the tabs or the little tags and stuff, she can also, she could store photos in these pockets too. So I think what I'll do is eventually, well, not this edge, but I'll sew around the edges of these. But let's put on some, oh, you know, I brought out all these cute buttons. I brought out some buttons. These could be our little windy around, you know, buttons. These are pretty flat. I was going to do little paper tabs, but you know what? Since I have buttons, they kind of just, that kind of lends itself to baby book, doesn't it? That's a bigger one too. Yeah, cute. I like this idea. Okay, so now should I want to, before we sew those on though, it's pretty, like I want to put something along the edge here to brighten it up, to distinguish between the two layers of paper. So let's see, what should we put on? Maybe some offcuts of stuff, and then I want to put a quote maybe. Let's see, we've got our pile of quotes here from the kit. We're down here. This one says, people should never turn down the opportunity to hold a baby. There's something about the feel of a baby in your arms that just fixes you. I agree. And then, for all the things my hands have held, the best by far is you. Okay. Yep. I like those two. They fit there just perfect. Maybe we'll put them down on the bottom parts of there. Like that. And then let's back them with something. Let's get, I've got also, oh, I was going to use those, but no, let's not do that. Let's use over here, I've got extra pieces of offcut stuff. So let's back them. Yeah, let's do that. So while I'm doing all this gluing, let me just tell you about my last few days, guys. I have been proctoring the ACT test. If, is the ACT, no, I just thought of this. Is the ACT thing universal? Is ACT, do you guys take that in other countries? Do you take the ACT test? It's like for college entrance. It tells you kind of where a student's at in high school in their learning. I'm curious now. So if you're from a different country, tell me, do you take ACT, or is that just an American thing that we do here? So but it's a big deal. Where, in case you don't know about it, it is a big deal. It is highly regulated. There are tons of rules around it. If you are proctoring it, there are a ton of rules, things that you can and can't do. You can't access any electronics. You can't read a book. You definitely can't sit and cut out ephemera, which is what has been making me so sad, because it's also a long test. And what I'm proctoring is not just the standard test, but I proctor the ones where my students have extended time because they have special needs and stuff. So they've qualified for an extended time, which is great, except for it means that you're sitting in there for that much longer with nothing to do. And when it's like literally one-on-one kids that I'm testing, it's like watching paint dry sometimes. You know, you're watching these kids take a test, and so I'm actively monitoring them and everything. But at the same time, it is trying to sit there and, you know, stay completely excited about what you're doing the whole time. Yeah, okay. So I've been sitting there sad that I'm, you know, couldn't be cutting out ephemera. I have a love-hate relationship with fussy cutting, but I'm like, this would have been a perfect time to be fussy cutting stuff while I was sitting there. I think I'll put it down here. But yeah, so that has been what I have been doing for the last several days of my life. And now we have a day off because of conferences, which is also slightly bizarre because we've had so many weather days, bad weather days here where we've been off of school. And so there's not a lot for people to put into grade books right now because they're, you know, we've missed so much school to this point. There's not a whole lot to even put into a grade book. So these teachers are kind of just having to shoot from the hip. Maybe we'll put some of this along there to kind of differentiate between the two. Because normally I'd put some lace down here, but I don't want to put a bunch of lace because what if this is a little baby boy? Then I don't want it to be a super lacy book. So yeah, I think we'll do this. Anyway, ACT testing. You know, I'm honored that I can be able to be a part of that for my students. It's amazing to see some of these kids that have, I'm shocked how sticky this still is after all those years. Anyway, it's amazing to be able to watch some of my kids that have to work so much harder, you know, to get through school. It's amazing to watch them take an ACT, knowing that a good portion of them plan to go on to some sort of, you know, higher education, which is awesome. Good for them. Go them. I mean, school's not easy, and they're choosing to, you know, try and do some more. Okay, yeah, that's cute. And when I come stitching around, when it stitches around, and then we'll have the buttons for the closure, that'll be cute. Okay, we'll do that same trim here since I've got lots of it. Anyway, it's cool to watch these kids. So it's an honor to be able to be in there and help proctor their tests and stuff. I'm glad I can provide a safe, comfortable room for them to do that in and everything. But at the same time, it is, you know, it is a tough few days. And because they're extended time, then there's extra hours of you sitting in there proctoring tests. Also, we like to joke around about what kind of word is proctoring anyway. Proctor. Woo! Okay, I got it. I thought that was going to go all wonky for a second. I got it. Also, my students think it's funny when I tell them that I'm on YouTube, because they think of YouTubers as like all the ones doing the, yeah, you know, all the ones they watch, the people playing, the people that just go on YouTube to literally play video games, and then people watch them. My students, you know, kids watch them play video games for hours. I don't understand that stuff. But then when they find out that I have a YouTube channel, they just laugh. They think it's hilarious. Like, Miss A, what are you doing on YouTube? You have no business being on YouTube. I think it's funny that they think that way. I'm like, yeah, dudes, I'm super cool. You should go check it out. I was just telling one of them the other day, I have a student aide, and I was telling her that, you know, I'm almost at 600 subscribers. I can't even believe it. And she's like, neither can I. Which I said, I don't know if that's like a compliment. Oh, those are cute. Okay, so now the next thing is I need to make this one stand out a little bit. Actually, no, that could be the one that I affix the thing to and we could wrap around. Anyway, I have to make them stand out a little bit. So do I sew them on like I would sew on a normal button? Do I do that? No, you know what? I don't sew them on until I've sewn around the edge of the envelope, because I've learned that lesson. Because they put the button so close here, and then you're trying to sew around the edge and you can't because the presser foot doesn't want to go over it. So I'm going to set those buttons aside. And I think I'm good with these. What I'm going to do off camera, of course, is sew the edges like this. And, oh, you know what? Maybe we could put another strip of ribbon right there. That'd be cute. Kind of finish up the inside a little bit since I've got more of this stuff. Yeah. Oh, save these, right? Those are perfect for something. Put them into my never-ending piles of stuff. All right, so if you're from another country, your mission is right down below. If you guys take the ACT test, have you ever heard of this thing? Is it something you do? Or do you have like some completely separate college entrance type exam in your country? I know, like, my husband is from Nigeria, and I know that, you know, several countries have different types of exams. Like, I think that they do in Nigeria because they were an English colony up until the 60s. There we go. That looks a little more finished when you open it up too. Cute. I know that they do the thing where there's like, you take exams in high school. It's how you pass on to the next level or something. So Brits, you guys tell me below. Is that how that works for you guys? Like you have some sort of special testing? I'm going to put these over in my sewing pile. Curious. I love hearing how things work in different countries. Definitely being married to an international guy, I have learned all kinds of interesting things about different cultures through the years. And I just think it's fascinating. I love how similar we all are, yet how different we all are at times too. I think it makes us it makes it a very interesting planet to be on. All right. Ooh. Just trying to push that down. That sticks really. It's like really good double-sided tape on the other side of that. So those aren't going anywhere anytime soon. There we go. Cute. I know I keep saying that, but they are cute. Okay. So I've got those two envelopes. So those will be sewn in to the signature. So I'll sew them in here. See, this is why I have to talk about these things, because I was almost going to take this to my machine and sew this whole thing shut. I suppose I could do that, but then I'd have to sew it into the signature there, and that'd be a little, well, that could work too, because then I can't sew around it afterwards. You guys, seriously, sometimes, right? Do you please tell me that you guys do this too? Please tell me that you think these things through 100 times. Let me check how long this video has been. It doesn't even say on my thing. All right, I think what I'm going to do is be done for today. I'm going to go ahead and sew around all that stuff, and then maybe I'll come back in another video and do some collaging on some bags, and then start affixing some of these goodies into my signatures. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope you're all doing really well, and I hope that it's not snowing more where you are, unless you want snow, and then if that's the case, you can have some of ours too. But I hope you all have a great weekend, and that you are blessed wherever you are. Stay warm, enjoy your day and your weekend, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye bye, everybody.